What world knew is that America has been discovered by Columbus. But does it stand true in today's realm? Did he really discover America, or was it a mere description of America? The instability created in the island of Hispaniola, today known as Haiti, still persists. In this video, we, the students of University of Delhi, on behalf of History Department, would throw some insights into Columbus' journey and would also try to understand the mindset of Columbus as an intrepid explorer who brought two worlds together, or a ruthless exploiter who brought colonialism and slavery.
So there are four voyages of Christopher Columbus to the Americas. First 1492 to 1493, second 1493 to 1496, and third 1498 to 1500, and last one 1502 to 1504. So I will discuss about the first voyages of Columbus. Columbus, before starting their sea project, Columbus went to England's King Henry VII and Portugal's King John II to seek their support in the sea project, but everyone refused to support or help in his project, and no one trusted him. Eventually, Eventually, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain saw interest in the voyages and gave him authority under the royal seal to charter three ships with all the necessary crews and provides for the long voyages. So, after that, Christopher Columbus' four voyages of discovery to the New World were recorded in the number of letters dispatched written by him and the officers who sailed with him. Columbus carried on his first voyages a converted Jew with a knowledge of Arabic who would be able to expound the Christian missionaries to the Chinese, Japanese, and Indians who were presumed to speak Arabic. Paleo Toscanelli, Italian cosmographer, sent a map to Columbus, which Columbus undoubtedly carried and consulted. Columbus was a good natural pilot who knew how to take advantage of winds and currents, and who learned almost intuitively how to sail out with the trades and back the wrestlers. But he was not a good administrator because he quarreled with his captain, and his crews were several times on the point of mutiny. He trusted no one except family member of his own family. He was compelled to expect Cuba as the Asiatic mainland, the extreme in the east, although on the reaching it, he had believed a native account that it was in effect large island. On his second voyage, he compelled his officer and crew to swear under heavy penalties that it was beyond any doubt the mainland of Asia. On the 12 May 1492, three ships, the Santa Maria, Pinta, and Nina, set all from the port of Palos, and with a few days they reached the Canary Island, and then in about 33 days they reached the Guanahani Island and named it San Salvador. So,
Hello everyone. As the first voyage is being discussed by our group member, now I take the discussion further. Even before reaching Guanahani Island, the crew member started getting discouraged in a few days, but Columbus kept reassuring them that they are about to reach there. He always wrote down the details of his journey. Whenever he felt discouraged, he would see birds and creatures that would assure him that now we are nearby land. Birds like topic, booby, and frenetic, and whale fish and layer of grasses. Interaction with the native Indians. On the first arrival of the Spaniards, were warm welcomed and entertained by the Arawak people, who traded food and water and a few gold ornaments for such trifles as newly minted copper coins, brass bells, and even bits of broken glass and pottery. They believed that white stranger in their tall ships had come down from the sky. Journey description of Columbus. Columbus described the different types of flora and fauna. The nature there was very beautiful, lush and fertile. There are trees, small and big, everywhere. There are large lagoons around which trees stand in wonderful groves. The singing of small birds is so sweet that no one can wish to leave this place. There is an amazing variety of birds. I am very sorry that I could not likely identify them because I am sure that they are all valuable. Columbus traveled many islands and changed the names of islands as per his convenience, such as San Salvador, Santa Maria de Fernandina, Isabela, Juana, Cuba, Alpha, Hispaniola, etc., etc. In December, while the admiral was sailing for Hispaniola, his ship collided with the reef and was badly damaged. When the cacique of nearby island Guacanangri heard of this incident, he sent the entire village for the help and expressed sorrow for the loss, and gave them shelter in his village and posted men to keep watch all night to protect them from the Caribs. The king was the king invited the admiral to the feast of sweet potato and yucca, their staple food. Here two goods are exchanged. But Columbus says how innocent these people are. They have no knowledge about the value and parameter of the things. The admiral named Navidad as De Gracia and sailed back to Spain on 4th January 1493. He was received as hero in Spain. This was his moment in the sun. He displayed several kidnapped natives and what gold he found to the court, as well as the previously unknown tobacco plant, the pineapple fruit, the turkey, and the sailor's first love, the hammock. He did not bring any of the coveted East Indies spices such as the exceedingly expensive black pepper, ginger, or cloves.
मैं कोलंबस की दूसरी यात्रा डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ। कोलंबस की दूसरी यात्रा वहाँ बचे लोगों को राहत देने के लिए तथा जो पहले खोजें हो चुकी थी इसी क्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए नई खोजों को करने के उद्देश्य से यह यात्रा शुरू की गई थी। इस जल यात्रा के लिए किंग पोप अलेक्जेंडर 6 से अनुमति ली थी। इस जल यात्रा के लिए जिन सामग्रियों की ज़रूरत थी उन सभी सामग्रियों को किंग द्वारा उपलब्ध कराया गया था। जहाजी बेड़ा 25 सितंबर 1943 को स्पेन के कैडिज बंदरगाह से निकलता है। हम इस यात्रा को डॉक्टर चांचा के पत्र के माध्यम से, जिनमें मुख्यतः 6 द्वीपों का गहनता से अध्ययन किया गया है, अध्ययन करेंगे। अपनी यात्रा के दौरान ये एक द्वीप पर उतरते हैं जहाँ इन्हें सघन वन तथा विशाल पेड़ मिलते हैं। इनमें से कुछ पेड़ों पर फल तथा फूल लगे होते हैं। इनके बेड़े में शामिल कुछ सदस्यों में से कुछ लोग इन फलों को बिना सोचे समझे चख लेते हैं, जिससे इनका चेहरा सूज जाता है और दर्द करने लगता है। बाद में ये इन्हें कोल्ड कंप्रेस से ठीक करते हैं। अपनी यात्रा के दौरान ये एक दूसरे द्वीप पर जाते हैं जहाँ के लोग इन्हें देखकर भाग जाते हैं। जब ये उनके घरों का दौरा करते हैं तो उनके घरों में उपस्थित सामग्रियों को देखते हैं। इनके घरों में उपस्थित ये 2 तोतों को लेकर आते हैं तथा उनमें से कुछ को भोजन को देखते हैं तथा उनमें से थोड़ा थोड़ा लेते हैं। या उनके घरों में बहुत सारी काटी हुई कपास तथा कटाई के लिए तैयार कपास को देखते हैं। या विशेष रूप से ये 4 या 5 मानव हाथ या पैर की हड्डियों को लेते हैं, जिसे देखकर इन्हें विश्वास हो जाता है कि कैरिब्स मानव मांस खाते हैं। यहाँ से ये 2 लड़कों तथा कुछ महिलाओं को पकड़ते हैं। ये उनके घरों और गांव का दौरा करते हैं। उनके घरों में इन्हें बड़े पैमाने पर मानव हड्डियाँ और खोपड़ियाँ लटकी हुई मिली, जिनका प्रयोग वस्तुओं को रखने तथा बर्तन के रूप में घरों में इस्तेमाल किया जाता था। यहाँ बहुत कम पुरुष मिले जो अन्य द्वीपों पर द स्टोरी में छापा मारने गए थे। ये अन्य द्वीपों से महिला, पुरुषों तथा बच्चों को उठा के लाते हैं तथा उनका मांस खाते हैं। ये मुख्यतः पुरुषों का मांस खाते हैं। कैरिब्स अपने पैरों में बुने हुए सूती कपड़े के 2 छल्लों को पहनते हैं, जिनमें से एक घुटने के नीचे तथा दूसरा टखने के ऊपर पहनते हैं। ये लोग हथियारों के रूप में कछुए के कवचों को तीरों का उपयोग करते हैं तथा अन्य द्वीपों पर अन्य तीरों के रूप में मछली की हड्डी के तीरों का उपयोग किया जाता है। आगे यह जमुना प्रांत के उस स्थान पर जाते हैं जहाँ पहले इन्होंने इंडियंस को छोड़ा था और जहाँ गुआकामारी रहता था। इस द्वीप पर इंडियंस कि ये एक कारवां से गुआकामारी तथा ईसाइयों के बारे में पूछते हैं, तो उस कारवां में शामिल एक इंडियन बताता है कि उनमें से कुछ ईसाइयों की मौत तो बीमारी से हो गई तथा कुछ आपसी झगड़े से मर गए। आगे ये गुआकामारी से मिलते हैं तो उसने बताया कि 2 अन्य राजा काओनाबो तथा मायरेनी ने उन पर हमला कर दिया था और उनके गांव को जला दिया था। इनके लौटने पर इनसे सोने का आदान प्रदान किया गया था तथा प्रत्येक को उसके महत्व के अनुसार छोटा या बड़ा स्वर्ण आभूषण प्रदान किया था। इस द्वीप के इंडियंस के बारे में कहते हैं कि ये इतने अच्छे स्वभाव के हैं, उनके पास अगर कोई दुभाषिया होता तो ये उनका धर्म परिवर्तन करा सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये हमारी प्रत्येक चीज़ की नकल करते हैं।
The account of second voyage have been provided via the letters of Dr. Chancha and Hernando Colon. I'll be briefing about the letters of Hernando Colon. Presence of coal in Cibao were confirmed by the fleet led by Ojeda. He also noticed panning of gold from a stream by Indians. On receiving his accounts and having been recovered from ill health, the admiral also set to make his way to Cibao, leaving a good guard on the remaining fleet. For many had come on this voyage with the idea that the moment they landed, they would load themselves with gold and would immediately be rich, and had also been plotting in secret to renounce the admiral's authority. On his way to Cibao, he was equipped with all the tools and things required to build a fort so as to keep his men safe from any anticipated attack by the Indians and also to prevent incidents like Navidad. As a great display of power, the admiral drew up his men in military formation as if going to war. Another notable instance happened in a village in which, on seeing the Spaniards, the inhabitants fortified themselves into houses, sabotaging the doors with crossed canes as if these formed a great defense. On his return to Isabel, he was surprised with the fertility of land, for the seeds of all the plants they sowed came up in mere 3 days and were ready to eat in 25 days. Later, he received a message about a possible attack on Santo Tomas, the fort, by a native leader, but the admiral had faith in the horses, as mere sight of them made the Indians mad. At Santa Cruz, they witnessed a unique style of fishing in which the natives tie thin cord to the tails of certain fishes. The remora had a rough patch on their heads which extends down the spines and attaches itself to any other fish that come near. Among the Indians, one was wearing a white robe which reached to his knees, and 2 others who had robes down to the ground. Also, on his return, he found all the Indians of Ireland in revolt owing to the misconduct of Pedro Margaret. Christians were committing innumerable outrages for which they were morally hated by the Indians, and the Indians were refusing to return to obedience. And then started a war. Admiral had with him one of the native leaders and a force of 200 Christians, 20 horses and hunting dogs, in contrast to 1 lakh Indians. The admiral's army was further divided into 2 to attack from 2 different directions, and eventually Indians fled like cowards. After this victory and the capture of those native leaders, the Christian fortunes became extremely prosperous. Hispaniola was reduced to such peace and obedience that all promised to pay tribute to the Catholic sovereigns. Furthermore, orders were given for the manufacture of discs of brass or copper to be given to each every time they made payment, and to be worn around the neck. Description of religious practices has been well described, for they discovered that each of the king had his special house in which camis, wooden images carved in relief, were placed. These houses also held round tables on which lies a special powder via which they used to intoxicate themselves. It was also observed that they concealed their camis from Christians and did not let them enter. However, it was later revealed that these are hollow structures, and the native leader had a servant to order its subjects via a pipe connected to the camis, which made it look like the cami had been ordering. But the native leader pleaded with Christians to not let the secret out, as it was the only way by which he commanded respect from his subjects. Different funeral rites were also observed. For instance, they prepared their native leaders for the tomb by cutting open the body and drying it over fire, in contrast to the partial preserve of common people. Finally, The Admiral returned to Kasile, for His Highness have been getting many false reports about the selfish intentions of Admiral in the exploration. With the journey becoming dreaded and diminishing food supply, some of them even wished to imitate the Caribs and eat the Indians they had aboard. But via the attitude of Columbus, they were saved.
Hello friends, as you have already seen from my previous group member about the first and second voyages of Columbus, now I am going to take the discussion further. From the above two voyages of Columbus, now we try to figure out about Columbus and his thinking process. Is there any anomalies or not? But before we should look at the statement of his own people like Captain Oviedo. According to him, Columbus had no great lineage, education and goes from one king to another for his dream, that is to find the route for Japan. There are a lot of questions arises about Columbus, like was he such a great leader, exceptional explorer, navigator, man of his own world, or whether he is carrying the notion of civilized man or not. Although he found America, but he never tried to explore Greenland, Labrador, Newfoundland, which marks a question on being called an explorer. Also, his knowledge of navigation was not exceptional because invention of compass made the navigation easy. No doubt he was a skilled pilot who knows how to take advantage of wind, but he was not a great leader. He regularly quarreled with his captain. Settlers at the Navida do not obey him, and he had a very serious trust issue. He believes no one except his family. He was obsessed with his ideas and tried to impose it on others. Like he forced his crew member to believe that the, the land which they have found is the edge of Asia, and considered Orinoco River as the one of the four rivers which is mentioned in the Bible. Although he always talks about converting natives into Christianity, but there is an allegation of him being a Jewish descendant. He was not a man of his word. Around 26 times he recorded wrong data about journey and used a different sign and symbol like bird, cloud, whale, wind, and to predict that land is near, which doesn't show any scientific mindset. Also, he was not investigating in his finding. He was a finalist in his approach, and there is a huge difference between what he sees in the New World and what he conveys to the king. He totally fails to understand the native people emotional intelligence. He conveys emotional intelligence and termed them as a barbarians. Columbus misunderstood the reason for the native kind behavior and thought they are doing so because he is from the sky. In his letter to various persons, he tried to create a good image of him. He says that how he was generous to the native people, but we know that what happened with the native people in the second voyages, what kind of the brutality the Spaniards had inflicted upon them. His perspective towards understanding natives keeps on changing. During his first voyages, he considered them as a barbarians, while on the second voyages, he considered them as intelligent. While giving classification of river, mountain, forest, he had given least interest in the human beings. All these incidents led to the questioning of modernity of Columbus. What Todoro have said seems to be correct, whether he is describing the America or he is discovering the America. In the aspect of reaching America, he can be seen as the hero, but in aspect of despoiling the lives of Native Americans and their property, he is a villain. Thank you so much.